Cars 3 looks to its past to help Lightning McQueen face his future, and that means Doc Hudson will be back to mentor his protege. I'm DJ Wooldridge, and this is Screen Junkies News. Legendary actor Paul Newman died in 2008, but his voice can be heard in the trailer for the upcoming Cars 3 movie. Some have wondered how Pixar will be able to tell its story without the actor's participation, but in a recent interview with Cinema Blend, director Brian Fee lays it all out. Quote, "The Paul Newman voice you hear in the trailer is not actually in the film. When John Lasseter was recording Paul Newman in Cars 1, John always kept the tape running. Paul will tell stories in between takes, and we had 28 hours of Paul Newman stuff that we were able to listen to and repurpose," end quote. With me to discuss his posthumous reintroduction is Jenny Nicholson.
Yeah.
Hello, Jenny. So how do you feel about them secretly taping a man that has now passed away and then using that audio in their movie?
I mean, I think it's fine. It's weird if it's him talking about himself.
Yeah.
Like he was like, I proposed to my wife when this happened. But like my impression is that with these Pixar movies, they write like a bunch of different versions of the script. So they probably had like 1,000 lines of coaching dialogue.
Okay.
They've done this before. When the Cars ride opened at California Adventure, they have a big animatronic of him, and it's lines that aren't in the movie that they just like pulled from recording sessions.
Interesting.
So it's like if Idina Menzel like keeled over right now, they could still make Frozen 2 because Frozen 1 was initially like a whole different movie.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's not like a bunch of personal anecdotes he had, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna take your life and use it for the movie."
The quote makes it sound like it is his personal
anecdotes. It makes it sound kind of sketchy.
Like I feel like what it honestly is him saying like tighten around those curves.
Yeah.
Son. But like it might be him talking about his children.
So now it is presumed that these will be flashbacks. Otherwise, some scenes in 2
they killed his character as well.
Well, didn't you just say they just like point to a picture and be like, "Oh, I wish he could be here"?
I haven't seen it in a while, but like in Cars 2, they kind of did a respectful like. Lightning McQueen looks at a picture of him or something and goes like, "I wish Doc was here," and that's like, so he's dead, and a car, but he's a dead car.
We don't know how cars die.
My car died, but it's way sadder in this universe.
Yeah, because they're real.
That's my car.
Yeah.
But so maybe we just misunderstood that line, and they're gonna retcon it and be like, "Oh, he missed the plane."
Yeah.
Like, because, they're like touring the world for the races in that second one.
Yeah,
so maybe they're like,
planes are
I
big
wish
enough
Doc
to fit
could
cars.
be here. He'd be really proud. And he's just back home in Radiator Springs. And they'd call him, but it's like 3 a.m. U.S.
It's
time.
it's not good for him. But presumably it's a flashback. Do you think it'll... I know we're going to be meeting characters like Margot Martindale is going to voice Louise Nash, who may have spent some time and was possibly a romantic love interest for Doc. How would you like to see him incorporated in these? Or do you need that? Is it a bad idea?
I don't need him back. Maybe... I don't know much about Paul Newman, but maybe like on his deathbed, he said the proudest role I've ever done was Doc Hudson in
Cars 3. That's probably not
maybe this is like
what
a
he
great
said,
way to honor his memory if he loved that, or maybe maybe he has grandkids that love the car movies, and maybe it's touching for that reason.
Or maybe he's got relatives that want that Cars money rolled in, and so like, hey, put his voice in there, please.
But I feel like if it's something like that, like his family wanted him in, then that's cool of them to do. But I feel like if they just want him in, it's like, well, why?
Yeah. How do you think
we don't need that?
Do you think it'll just be like emotional flashback stuff? How do you think this will factor into the story?
Okay, I think it's very weird to even remind people that Doc Hudson exists in this movie, because the entire kind of story in Cars 1 was that Doc Hudson was an old race car that crashed and became obsolete and had to retire.
Yeah.
And then this movie is dealing with Lightning McQueen becoming obsolete and having to retire. But he's like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of weird to me.
Yeah, remember that
important.
Yeah, remember that important life lesson Doc learned and had to overcome? Not for me, no thank you.
And then in the first movie, you have Lightning's opponent who like retires in like a respectful way, like a passing of the torch. And then in this one, Lightning's like, I'll die before I stop winning races against kids. Like, this kid's probably like 20, this new character. And
so
I don't know. What's the message here?
You'd rather just see like Lightning McQueen peacefully retire and start his own like...
Yeah. He already made a racing center and named it after Doc Hudson.
Yes.
So
mission
he could
accomplished.
train the next generation of racers, but instead he's like, I want to keep racing.
What if you had a Creed kind of like reboot where Lightning's training the next
That
generation
would make
person?
sense.
Yeah.
And then they could sell a bunch of new toys of this new car that Lightning's training.
Yeah, and it could be Doc Hudson's long
But
lost
maybe
son.
that's what Cruz
or
Rivera is
grandson.
going to be, the yellow car. She's his
know.
coach.
I'm sorry.
But
Okay.
maybe this fake Cars fan. I don't know. She's that new yellow car. She's his coach, but maybe he ends up coaching her. Maybe she has some little line of dialogue where she says, I always wanted to be a race car.
Yeah, and she comes back.
And then she's like, oh, I could never be a race car. And he's like, yeah, you couldn't. You're no Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
And then maybe he has to learn to pass the torch to her.
There you go. Cars 4.
And
Everybody.
together they will murder Jackson Storm.
Everybody's new favorite character, Jackson Storm.
Jackson Storm.
Guys, what character would you like to see in flashbacks, or what car have we not seen in the movies that we would like to see made into a sort of person, but not really?
What does that mean?
The cars are people. I don't know.
You want me to pick a model of car?
Yeah, pick a model of car that you want to see. I don't know. What if the cars had to shop for people like people have to shop for cars? Like they buy their driver.
What if we haven't seen a dune buggy?
We haven't seen a dune
Take
buggy?
a dune buggy.
Or like, have we seen a Formula, one of those, the Formula like, anyway, what car would you like to see in the Cars movie? Let us know in the comments at home.
And what would you name them?
What would you name the car? Thank you for watching. Please click here for the videos that we have. For more internets, tweet us at SJ News and make sure to subscribe to SJ News. Bye-bye.